Hello, my people. Okay, yes, this is your host again, Mobolo. So, you're welcome back to Math Lesson with Mobolo. This is lesson number 3. Math Lesson with Mobolo. This is lesson number 3. Math Lesson with Mobolo. And this is lesson number 3. So, I am your regular host. If you had followed me on lesson number 1 and lesson number 2, in lesson number 1 we looked at multiplying numbers that ended with 7, formula we can use to multiply numbers that ended with 7. And in lesson number 2 we also went a step further to look at other numbers that formula you can use to easily multiply such numbers. I won't go into details on that. Watch my math lesson with Mobolo, lesson 1 and lesson 2 to know more about that. Today we are going into lesson 3, and in this lesson 3 we are looking at multiples of 11, multiplying numbers that end with 11. That is, if you multiply a number by a multiple of 11. Let's take an example. Example number 1: 23 multiplied by 11. 23 multiplied by 11. Now, through this formula, which is you may already have an idea, if you are multiplying a number by 11, you just multiply this one by this 23. It gives you 23. You put 2 and you put 3 and you put a space in between them. Then you add the 2 and the 3, which gives you 5. That gives you 253. So 23 multiplied by 11 is 253. Now, if you are multiplying it, let's say, and by another multiple of 11, let's take 44. 23 multiplied by 44. You use the same formula. You take a single of this 4 multiplied by this 23. Now 4 multiplied by 3 gives you 2, gives you 12. You write 2 and take 1. Then 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, plus that one gives you 9. You put a space in between the 9 and the 2, that gives you 9 space 2. You now add this 9 and this 2, it gives you 11. So you put the last one. You can decide to put the 11 underneath so that you just add it directly, and then you have 2, 1, 9 plus 1, 10, 1012. So that is that for 23 multiplied by 44. So yeah, I hope you understand what I just did. Let me just do a quick recap. 4 multiplied by 23 gives us 92. You put the 9 and the 2 and the space in between. Now when you add the 9 and the 2, it gives you 11, which is a 2-digit number. That's why I had to bring it under instead of just putting it in between here. Or you can just say, okay, 11, I put 1 here, then the remaining one, add it to this 9, gives you 10. You can now have it. That is what I just did here. Now let me look at something a little more technical. Let's take a number 3 to be 56. 56 multiplied by 88. 56 multiplied by 88. This is a little bit more technical, but in this case, now let's look at how it goes. Now, as I said, you just multiply one of these numbers with this number here. Now 8 multiplied by 6 is 48. So you write the 8. You take your 4. 8 multiplied by 5 is 40, plus this 4 gives you 44. Now in this case, you have a 3-digit answer. Now what you do in this case is that you first 2 digits, you take it as a single number. So you have your 44 space 8. It now becomes 44 space 8. You know, in the previous ones, you took the first number space the second number, but in this case now, take the first 2 numbers space the last digit. So then the next thing you do is what? You add it up. Add this 44 and this 8, it gives you 52. So your 2 comes in between, and then your 5 comes here. So that is how you get it. So your last digit is what comes in between the first number. So when you now add it up, you have 8, you have 2, 4 plus 5 gives you 9, and you have a 4. That gives you 4,928. So if you use your calculator, you shall get 4,928 as your multiple. So you see that without using your calculator, this is a fast method of calculating any number when you are multiplying any number that ends with is a multiple of 11. So any number at all that is a multiple of 11 can be done in this form. Let's take another example. Example number 4. Let's take a more technical one. 87 multiplied by 99. And this looks a little bit more technical, but we use the same method. 9 multiplied by 7 gives you 63. You write your 3 and take your 6. 9 multiplied by 8 gives you 72. Plus that 6 gives you 78. You put your 78 and a space before the 3. Now when you add 78 plus 3, it gives you 81. So the 8 comes here and the 1 comes in between. So when you now add it up, you have your 3, you have your 3, you have your 1. 8 plus 8 will give you 16. You have your 6, and then add the 1 to this 7, that gives you 8. So 8,613. That gives you your final answer. Now let's go a little more technical than this. Now we have been dealing with multiples of 11 between 11 and 99, which are 2-digit number. What if you are given a problem to solve when it's a multiple of 11 that is higher than 99? Talking about a number that is like 3 digits. Take for example numbers like 100 and like 110, 121, 132, 143, 150. 154 and going and so on and so forth. So let's take 132 for example. Let's multiply the number by 132. So this is our lesson, our number 5. Let's look at a number like 527 multiplied by 132. Now 132 is 11 multiplied by 12. So it's the 12th multiple of 11. So we assume this number as, if you can remember what we used to multiply in the other cases, like when you have 23 multiplied by 44, used 4 to multiply. When you had 56 multiplied by 88, you used 8 to multiply. When you had 87 multiplied by 99, you used 9 to multiply. Now that you have 527 multiplied by 132, what do you use to multiply? Of course, the multiple of 11, which is what? 12. 12, because 132 is 12 multiplied by 11. So it's like, this 132 is like having 12 in 2 places. So let's now multiply. 12 multiplied by 7 gives you 84. So you put your 4 and you put your 8. In this case now, we are taking it one after the other. Now 12 multiplied by 7 is 84. You put your 8 and 4 and put a space in between. Yeah. Then 12 multiplied by, remember we are using 12 here. If you like, you can put this 132 as 12 12. You can put it in bracket 12 12 to note that it is 12 you are using to multiply. Now 12 multiplied by 2 is 24. Now the 4 will come in between the 8 and this 4, and then you have your 2 here, create another space. Now 12 multiplied by 5 is 60. You have your 0 coming between this 2 and the 4, then you have your 6 here. Now what do you do next? You add up. You add up just like in the other cases. 8 plus 4 gives you 12. So you have your 2 and 1. That one you add it to this 8 to give you 9. So you change this 8 to 9. Or you can decide to put the 1 here. So it becomes 924. Now, in this case, 2 plus 4 gives you 6. You put the 6 in between. And 6 plus 0 gives you 6. You put the 6 in between. And then you add it up. You have your 4. 2 plus 4, 6. 9 plus 6, 15. You have your 5. You take 1. 2 plus 6, 8 plus that one gives you 9. And then you have 6. And so the number becomes 69,564. That is what you get when you multiply 527 by 132. So I hope you understand what I just did. I hope you understand why this number had to be the number 9. Because when you added 8 and 4, it gave you 12. So that one of that 12 made this 9. Now let's go to another. Let's take the final. Okay, not the final now. But let's take another number. Let's take okay, it shall be the final. This shall be the last because of time. let's take 259 multiplied by 143. 259 multiplied by 143. Using the same method, the same way we just did, 143 is 11 multiplied by 13. 143 is 11 multiplied by 13. So it's, as I said earlier, in the one we did earlier, just take it as if this is 13 and 13. So let's now go. 13 multiplied by 9. If you calculate it, and though it's getting a little bit technical, but calculating 13 by 9 gives you, if you know your 13 multiplication table, it gives you 117. So as we did earlier in the one we just treated, you have your 7, you create a space and put your 11. Now 13 multiplied by 5 will give you 65. You put the 5 in between this space, and your 6, you create another space, and your 6 comes here underneath this one. Then 13 multiplied by 2 is 26. The 6 comes at the underneath the space here, create another space and put 2. So that is 20. So that's that. Then you add up. 11 plus 7 gives you 18. This is your 8. And then the 1, you add the 1 to this 11, that gives you 12. So you change this 11 to 12. Then 6 plus 5 gives you 11. 6 plus 5 is 11. You put your 1 in between. The other one, you add it to this 6, it gives you 7. So you can change this your 6 to 7. Then 2 plus 6 gives you 8. You have your 8 here. And then when you add it up, you have 7. 8 plus 5 gives you 13. You write your 3. Take 1. 2 plus 1 is 3 plus 6 gives you 9. Plus that one gives you 10. Have your 0 and take 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 plus that one gives you 17. Have your 7. Take 1. And then you add that one to this 2 and gives you 3. Hope you understand what I just did. So that gives you 37,037. So that means 259 multiplied by 143 gives 37,037. So that is that. And so you can go on and on and on with any number that is a multiple of 11. Thank you very much. But let's just have a little recap. In this lesson 3, we are dealing with numbers that are multiple of 11. And I started the first one by looking at 23 multiplied by 11. 1 multiplied by 23 gives you 23. You put your 2 and your 3 and then create a space in between. Then you add 2 plus 3 and would give you 5, and you put the 5 in between. The same thing, 23 multiplied by 44. 4 multiplied by 23 gives you 92. You have your 9 space 2. Then if you add 9 and 2, it gives you 11. So your 1 comes in between. The last digit, which is 1, comes in between the 9 and the 2. And then you add the other 1 to the 9 to make it 10. That's how you get 1012. 56 multiplied by 88. The same process. 8 multiplied by 56 gave us 448. But you now take the first 2 digits as one number. Put the 4 together, space, and then the 8. Then when you add the 44 and the 8, it gives 52. You have the 2 in between the 4 and the 44 and the 8, and then you add the 5 to the 44 to give you 49. That's how you have 4,928. 87 multiplied by 99 was another one we looked at using the same method. You have 78, 783, 78 space 3. When you add 78 and 3, you have 81. You now add the 1 in between and then add with the 78. You have 8,613. Then we went into a more technical number where you have a multiple of 11 that is 3 digits, like 132. So we use 527 multiplied by 132. So as I said, it's 12 times 11 that gives you 132. So you take this 132 as if it's 12 in 2 places. So you multiply by 12. 12 multiplied by 7 gives 84. You have your 8 space 4. Then 12 multiplied by 2 gives you 26. You have your 2 space 24. You have your 2 space 4. Then 12 multiplied by 5 is 60. You have your 6 space 0. So in that same vein, then when you add the 8 and the 4, it gives you 12. So you put your 2 in between in between, and then you add that 1 to that 8. That's what gave us this 9. Then 2 plus 4 gave us 6. You put the 6 in between. 6 plus 6 gives us 6. 6 plus 0 gives us 6. You put the 6 in between, and then when you add it up, you got 69,564. Then in the same vein, 259 multiplied by 143, using the same method. 13 being that 143 is 11 multiplied by 13. So 13 multiplied by 9 gives us 117. You have the 11, the 1 together, and then space 7. 13 multiplied by 5 gives us 65. You have the 6 here, space 5. Then 13 multiplied by 2 gave us 26. You have the 2 here, space 6. The 6 fell under this 1, and this 5 fell under this 8. So when you now add it up, 11 plus 7 gave us 18. Have the 8 in between, then the 1 added to the 11 gives you 12. 6 plus 5 gave us 11. You have the 1 in between, add the other one to the 6 gives you 7. And 2 plus 6 gives 8. And when you add it up, you have 37,037. So that is all. I hope you understood it very well. Thank you very much.